Hi, everyone. My name is Annie Hodgkins, and I'm a director analyst at Gartner, where every day I speak with software and platform engineering leaders about their top challenges, their goals, and the things they're working towards. In these conversations, especially over the last few years, it's become clear that many are operating with misguided understandings of both DevOps and platform engineering. It's not just creating confusion. It's actually been leading to waste in investment and your team members' time and overall in product team inefficiencies. So today we're going to examine some of those big misconceptions that we're hearing across Gartner and how you can move past them. Doing so requires two strategies to move forward. And today we're going to start on the left here. Because without a clear vision of your intended objectives and the business outcomes you're working towards, you risk investing in approaches and sometimes even tools that fail to move the business needle. Or worse, stakeholders and teams get confused about the point of the investment in the first place. This has been particularly a challenge for DevOps. There's a long history of best practices and steps to getting started. But over time, we've observed that expectations for value have been stretched and morphed. These are the kinds of misconceptions that we're hearing from your peers. First, on the left, we hear of many companies who are equating DevOps with tools. That's often a signal that there's a deep misunderstanding of the DevOps values in the first place, or there may be a cultural resistance to change. In the middle here, we often hear of companies who are creating DevOps job titles or full teams that are oriented around a CI/CD pipeline or toolchain maintenance and support. They're treating that team a lot like a center of excellence. But superficial changes to your teams doesn't embrace the paradigm shift that's required for successful DevOps ways of working and mindsets. And then finally, on the right here, we hear about measuring product team success using these output metrics like lines of code or bugs fixed, rather than focusing on delivering customer outcomes or business value. DevOps requires a focus on delivering business value over achieving technology outcomes. But sure, DevOps is full of jargon, and there's a lot of technical terminology that sometimes alienates your more non technical stakeholders that are needed for supporting this transformation. So, overcoming these misconceptions starts with demonstrating the business impact of the DevOps principles. So, to do that, draw a connection between the value of DevOps principles and the outcomes that it supports. You could say, for example, that automation improves delivery speed and efficiency, can reduce incidents and manual efforts to lead to higher quality outcomes. You could point out continuous delivery allows for a more rapid delivery of reliable releases. Performing multidisciplinary teams reduces time-consuming handoffs that sometimes exist between silos. That speeds up value delivery to solve complex business problems faster. Or finally, you could point out continuous integration ensures the production readiness of an application for faster time to market. It can help minimize large-scale risk of failure. With this kind of messaging and these connections, you can think about the best way to inject them into your organization. And I'll show you how some of your peers went about doing that. So first, on the left here, this advice comes from an enterprise architecture manager from a tech company. And they shared that to do this, they used artifacts like an overview document, which was a one-pager that defined DevOps and showed how it improves business outcomes. What's cool about that is that they made sure they communicated why their audience should care. If you root your definition and the way you socialize DevOps in terms that resonate with your audience, they'll be more likely to connect DevOps with the improvements in the value that they see. And then on the right here, another one of your peers who's a director of a software development team at a retail company shared that they looked at their most pressing current issues as an organization. So the things that were really top mind to decision makers and leadership. And then they align their business case for DevOps to those priorities. And that demonstrates the relevance of DevOps on those mission critical outcomes that led to more buy in to adopt this way of working. In my calls with other Gartner clients, a lot of them often share that as a baseline, they recommend reading the literature like the Phoenix Project so that teams and leaders are working on these common assumptions and principles of the DevOps mindset, delivering value with a focus on their users. And this mindset isn't just a nice to have. In fact, according to the DORA State of DevOps report, teams that focus on the user make better products. So clarifying DevOps can help ensure that your team's investments and efforts are all aligned to common goals and reduce the confusion and frustration and wasted efforts in software development. So now we'll move on to some of the big ways we've heard platform engineering efforts get derailed. So here's a look of some themes that we're hearing across your peers. First, on the left here, we hear of a lot of companies who are retitling their existing DevOps toolchain team to just become the new platform engineering team. That involves only making these superficial changes to the team's ways of working. And as a result, the team often doesn't have the right mindset or the right mix of skills to manage and evolve the platform like a product. And then, second, in the middle here, we often hear of organizations who are operating platform engineering teams with this build it and they will come mindset. And they're not focusing on the usability of the platform capabilities. Over engineering the platform without continuous platform feedback can lead to wasted efforts and misaligned platform capabilities. And then finally, on the right here, we hear about platform engineering teams who make platform usage mandatory, and they give no other options to use other tools. This is actually a common pattern that undermines the need for platform engineering teams to make their platforms compelling and easy to use. And now, if any of these misconceptions that you see resonate, you're really not alone. But getting back on track requires a commitment to continuous improvement. And for us, that means recognizing what's going wrong and then reorienting to the value of platform engineering in the first place. Platform engineering is not just another DevOps team, and it can't be applied to all platform teams, and it shouldn't be forced upon your developers. So, how does it fit into DevOps, and why are some organizations actually conflating the two concepts? Well, the best platform engineering teams apply DevOps principles to their own work and mindset. And they use that orientation to business value to steer and evolve their offerings. So, to clarify the principles of platform engineering, make the connection to business value clear. You could say that paved roads reduces the cognitive load and improves the experience of developers on your software product teams. You could say that having dedicated platform teams combines multidisciplinary skill sets needed to build, curate, measure, and evolve your internal platforms, which can continuously improve product team pain points across your organization. You could also point out that having embedded guardrails reduces the effort to deliver security, architecture, compliance, and quality outcomes at scale. Or finally, you could point that self-service access to information or assets and platform capabilities reduces tedious dependencies and improves the speed and predictability of software delivery. You could also structure these types of connections as quick elevator pitches. And that conveys the value of platform engineering to stakeholders in a consumable way. And use success stories that makes that connection tangible. And I'll give you an example. Cynthia Staver, the SVP and CIO from Adobe, shared that they're connecting platform engineering efforts to toil elimination. And that's in pursuit of productivity improvements across Adobe. Cynthia attributes automation of development activities that cause great toil and burden to their product teams to these productivity outcomes. And of course, being able to demonstrate this huge measurable impact really captures the attention of stakeholders. So, demonstrating business outcome oriented improvements like this one can help create a direct association to platform engineering. And it also strengthens your business case for investing in additional platform engineering teams, tools, or resources down the line. Now we'll come back to our second puzzle piece on the right here. Again, the platform engineering teams that support your internal development platforms can and should apply DevOps principles and a mindset to their own work to understand the needs and the challenges of their active and their potential platform consumers. To embrace the mindset of DevOps and collaboration and customer centricity, platform engineering teams should strengthen product management skills and treat their platforms as products. You could use these points to communicate the mantra of these principles. Platform engineering teams have to be inherently familiar with your internal customers and their pain points, their frustrations, and then use that feedback and understanding to evolve and adapt platform services to meet their needs. Platform engineering teams aren't just new DevOps teams. They require a distinct goal of improving developer experience and reducing the burden and cognitive load developers experience in the software development lifecycle. So don't assume product teams want to use their platform until you can make the value of the platform clear and tie it to their pain points. And ultimately, forcing a platform on your consumers leads to wasted effort and time in getting your platform up and running. So, doing this well means inherently knowing your customer. You can use market research or user interviews and focus groups to hear right from your developers. Gartner offers a developer experience assessment, like what you see here. It's basically a self assessment your developers can complete to indicate their satisfaction in components of their developer experience. And then it will generate results that you can use as direct feedback and allow you to more quickly adapt and evolve your platform offerings. So ultimately, overcoming these misconceptions that we talked about means reorienting teams and stakeholders to the value of the discrete principles of both DevOps and platform engineering. So avoid using technology centric explanations and instead elevate the conversation to focus on the impact of the approaches. At Gartner, we really love talking about this and helping others overcome common challenges. You can use this QR code to reach out and learn more about our DevX assessment or our research. I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in today and enjoy the rest of PlatformCom.